Hello, hello, and welcome to Easy Chat Live. And it really is live. It's just as live as it gets. And it's not even like we normally have it in a beautiful sort of side-by-side form. But here it is, guys. We're late, we're sorry, but we're very happy to be here. And I would like to introduce you, Sarah Thompson. And Sarah, I'm going to actually pass it on to Sarah, but Sarah is someone that I've been sort of following, probably a little bit silently, but sure, it's a busy life, but I've been following her for a few months, and I really like what she does. And Sarah teaches entrepreneurs how to create the life of their dreams. Like a lot of us, we do teach that, but the way Sarah does it is very unique, and I love it. And I'm going to pass it on. Sarah, will you please introduce yourself and tell everybody what you are, what you do, and about your wonderful write your own paycheck system.
Right. So, hi, I'm Sarah Thompson. I am the founder and creator of Write Your Own Paycheck and the 90-Day Method. And I also have, all kinds of exciting things like 6 children, 2 cats. Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
2 from my body. The rest are step. But yes, 6
Wonderful.
children.
Amazing.
2 children. Children ranging from 27 to 4.
Wow. Oh my God. That's some spectrum. I only have the one. Only have the one, 17, but it's a really good one. So I'm very lucky. Wow, I'm so impressed. I didn't know that. See, this is first time that me and Sarah are meeting, sort of face to face. And I was saying earlier, I wish we could just kind of do it over a glass of wine or lunch or a coffee. But this is the next best thing if you're living so far from each other. But it's fantastic that we can connect. So tell me then, tell me about your business first. So on the business end of things, who you are and what you do.
Well, I teach aspiring new and struggling entrepreneurs how to put systems into their business so they can actually make money. So my 90-day method, as an example, I put many clients through where it's very structured in what you're doing, designing your products, how you price your products, where you're finding people, how you're having conversations, and all building on each other, your product offerings, so that, the goal of the 90-day program, if you do it, is to earn your first or your second or your third $10,000 in 90 days.
Yeah, that's extremely valuable, because people, when they're starting or they're struggling with their business, these are the points that they usually are missing or doing it wrong or not, just don't have that mindset to understand. So this is why I think it's a brilliant system. What was that Cheers reference that you were talking about all the time?
Right. So that part of it is getting known, and part of doing business online is you getting known. And so the Cheers method is a way for you to get known and for people to remember you. And the idea comes from the television show, the Cheers show, the American show. And the intro is, you want to go where everybody knows your name. And so why did everybody know their name? Well, everybody knew their name because they went to the same bar every day. So one of the things that's happened as Facebook has grown, and as Facebook groups have grown, and as there have been other platforms that people can get visibility on, different social media platforms, is we, the solopreneurs or the just starting outpreneurs, that we need to be everywhere. The idea of the Cheers method is not that you be everywhere. It's that you show up in the same places on a regular basis. So to those people, it seems like you're everywhere, but you're actually not. You're just in the same places a lot. So it's like you go to one street where there's 5 bars, and you go to each of those bars. So everybody knows you. Not everybody, but a lot of people know you in those places.
That's right. So in those places, it feels like everybody knows you, and this is all about consistency, and it's all about showing up, and it's really up my street. What I'm trying to promote as well. You know, you build up your online presence by being there, by posting, by working. Not everything at the same time. That's overwhelming. Just choose a particular platform or two maximum, and just work them, and then repurpose your content. It's quite a simple concept, and yet for a starting entrepreneur, sometimes it's a difficult one to get their heads around. That's what I find. You know, you kind of almost need to convince them that that's the way, because they seem to be looking out and just can't be so simple. But it is.
Right. And so that's part of the framework that I go through with people, is showing them that they don't really have to know and talk to that many people to meet their goals.
That is true as well.
In the 90-day method, where they earn $10,000, they only have to actually sell in 3 months 22 things. 22.
That's right. So
you don't actually need to have, you know, there's so much stuff around, like, you need to build a list, and you need to do this, and you need to blog, and
there's a lot of noise.
You don't have to do all those things. You don't need all those things. I mean, I took to 3 people today to help them with their pricing and their packaging and their low price offer. All they need to offer their low price thing is the telephone.
That's right.
And they all have telephones, because I talked to them on the phone. So they already have everything that they need. They just have to stop overcomplicating it.
That's right. I love it. Exactly. You know, stop overcomplicating. I'm going to just take a minute there and say hello to everybody who is joining us. There's 12 people watching us right now live, which is, thank you so much for your time, guys. Really appreciate this. And if you can hear us well, because we are having some technical difficulties, we couldn't use the normal platform that I use for Easy Chat. So please, if you can hear us well, both of us, can you please type Y in the comments? And so we know if we have to address that, and that would be great. And of course, if you're loving what you're seeing, just smash that love button there as well and give us some Facebook juice. It's a good thing to do. We have a few people here. We have Jeff J. Hunter, who is coming to this show on Thursday, guys. So stay tuned for that. Thank you, Jeff, for joining us. He's checking me out, I'm sure. And we have Dave from Gieselman. I hope I said it right. Susie Genera. I hope I said it right. We have Elena Tarasova, which is an old friend of mine, all the way from Russia. And Cindy Trolls, she's in my course. Brilliant, Cindy. Thank you for watching. And Tyson Hollis and Sally Wisowski. Wisowski, is it? I hope I'm saying that's right.
Last initial. Then you don't have to know how to pronounce anything.
Wow, I'm always sort of, you know, I'm always doing my best, and I'm trying, and sometimes there'll be something that, and you know, guys, anyone who does lives, you know, there'll be one of them, and there's no way you can pronounce that correctly or incorrectly. Just whatever you do, you're set up for failure anyway, so.
My name's super simple to pronounce, so I've got that.
I'm so delighted about that, because if you didn't have that kind of name, I wouldn't be inviting you to my show.
But my name is so common, but that is actually how I came up with some of these strategies, was because people would forget who I was, because my name is literally so common.
Wow, that's interesting, actually. That is an interesting observation. With me in the names, it's a weird one. I tend to change mine every 18 years. So this name I have now, I really like it. I'm going to keep it maybe for a bit longer. You know, I really love that one. So Sarah, how did you just mentioned, so that's sort of like how it started, but how it actually started for you, the whole coaching thing? What's your background? And
well, my background is in corporate finance and operations, and I worked in the manufacturing industry in the United States when the manufacturing industry was mostly being outsourced to China. Yeah. And so I did a lot of different things in my corporate finance roles, because like we had to make, you know, it was sink or swim. So I learned a lot of things outside of just standard finance, just business things. And 7 years ago, I lost my last horrific job for her horrific boss in a horrific company.
Thank God for that.
Yes, and I'm thankful for that every day. I actually bought a book right after that was "Thank You for Firing Me," because it was wonderful. So after that happened, and I said, I just can't do this anymore. I was just done and totally burnt out, and had a 9-year-old son that I was a single parent of at the time, and I just couldn't do it. So that was 7 years ago, so I decided not to. I decided that I would not ever work for anyone again, and I had no choice but to make my business successful. I had no other option because I couldn't work for anyone again.
This is amazing because, if somebody asked me how I started my business, these are the words I would actually use. Exactly what you said. I've decided I will never work for anybody else, and I had no choice but to make a successful business. That's a very good, and it's very difficult when you are in a job, especially when you are in a sort of corporate job, and the mentality that you have, you're getting your paycheck on a certain day, you kind of always think that something comes to you, whereas when you're an entrepreneur, you have to find every resource within you. Nothing just comes to you, and the moment when that mindset shifts, that's the moment when you start becoming successful, or at least you can see how you can do this, Right. So it's a huge transformation.
The thing that I would always say is the only thing I really missed was what? A steady paycheck.
Yeah.
Which is where my program and brand, Write Your Own Paycheck, came from. Because, and one of the most important words in that statement is own. Right? Because
is own, yes, yeah.
My whole brand, my whole ethos, my whole belief system is around self-determination.
That's right.
You decide how much money you want to make. You decide what your business looks like. You decide what you're going to do, who you're going to work with, where you're going to work, right? Now, when you're first starting out, you might not be able to make all those decisions as freely as once you have more flexibility and you've built up a business and a following. But it's still not having everything decided for you.
Well, that is absolutely true. I remember when I started my own business, I did have, first of all, I still had the employee mentality, and I was still looking out for maybe somebody will give me some sort of a part-time steady gig, so at least if I lose these clients, then I'll have that kind of part-time job, and and if I have to go claim social welfare benefits or something, I had this kind, and you know what, right now, and for years now, I never even for a second even allow a thought of going and claiming social welfare benefits, because it's so below what I am, and it's so below what I can do, and I know it, but it took that transformation and that change. And the paycheck was this word for me. That's why I got attracted to your system straight away, because yes, write your own paycheck. But what it takes systems. As you said, you're teaching people systems. And even if you're starting yourself and going on your journey, it takes time to start taking yourself seriously. It took me 3 years before I even realized I'm not taking myself seriously. I'm still working with people, but I'm actually working as a kind of employee. I'm not in control, and I was allowing kind of abuse in a way, I was working with people who I didn't appreciate me, and I would still work with them because they were paying me measly fees, really, really low fees, and right now I wouldn't even talk to a person for that kind of, I wouldn't even consider talking to somebody negative who is offering me that, but it takes systems in place. The moment you have systems in your business, that's where you're becoming really in control of what's going on.
Right, exactly. And systems can be real, like I focus on really simple systems, free, first of all. So it's not costing you a fortune to start using systems. You start with free before you move to paid. You only move to paid things when you can afford it and when it's causing you more pain than not having it, right?
That's so right, yeah.
Oh my God, I can't deal with this anymore. Like, for example, I now pay for a calendar booking system. Why? Because I could not do it anymore. Couldn't do it, right? So for $10 a month, I do that. But you don't need that starting off. You can use the free version.
No.
Right?
Of course, yeah, of course.
Right? Figure out the free version and use that. There's plenty of free things you can use. It's still a system. Hey, even if you don't use a calendar booking system, use your Google Calendar app on your phone. That's a system. Operating according to a calendar is a system.
That's right. Facebook now, on Facebook Messenger, you can start a plan. You can go into settings, whether you're on computer or on your phone. You go into settings, start a plan. There's your appointment booked, and you get a notification an hour before. Perfect.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's all kinds of different ways that you can start incorporating systems. Most of it that I focus on centers around time, where you're spending your time, and how you're focusing on revenue generating activities or not.
That's right, yeah. Another main issue.
Both short term and long term, right? Short term is what do you need to do to pay the bills right now? Long term is what I call, and has been often referred to as the long game, which is all about building relationships and making them stronger with your people. I have your people, not your people. So what you were describing before is that you were working with and allowing into your sphere, not your people.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And here's the plain truth reality for people out there. Not your people will never like you. Not your people will never treat you right. No. Not your people will never get you motivated in the morning. Not your people will just suck all the energy out of your life. So your only job is to repel not your people and attract your people. Get better at figuring out who not your people are and better about figuring out who your people are. Like, as you're going along, and as you're talking to more people and working with more people in your business, you're going to be able to figure it out much easier. I can speak to somebody for 3 seconds sometimes and figure out people, not my people.
I'm exactly the same. It takes start of the phone call, literally the tone of the voice. Even some people, like my pet hate is when somebody clears their voice before they talk to you. You know, you've had the whole day there before I answered the phone to do that. And it's usually like 99.9%. These people, when they start speaking, I'm like, not happening. And I'll find any excuse. Even if I was struggling and I had no clients and I really needed money to pay my bills, I wouldn't work right now with a negative person that I don't feel a connection with. Because in the long run, it's going to drain you so much. I can't believe how fixated I used to be on my clients that I didn't have good relationships with. You know, I'd go home and they'd be in my head. It would like bad marriage. You know, like you're married to someone you hate. I can't imagine that because I'm married to someone who is my other half. But some people are in those relationships for years, and I know that it's very, very difficult psychologically. And you're getting into those relationships with people when you are not admitting to yourself that they're not your people.
Right.
And the funny thing as well is that the moment you let them go, the universe and life works that it wants to give you good things. But you have to let go of the bad things first, because there has to be space for that goodness to come in. And when you continue working with someone who is draining you and probably not treating you well, paying you pennies, and you know there's absolutely nothing to justify this, but you still continue working with them, you're not creating a void for a good client to come into your life.
Right.
I really believe that, you know, that's part of it.
Yeah, definitely. And it also impacts how you're showing up for the people that are your people.
That
right?
is so true.
If I just got off the phone with someone that makes me want to stab my eyes out, then how am I going to be on the next call?
That's right.
I'm not going to be myself. I'm still going to be somehow affected by that call I just had 3 minutes before I got on the phone with the next person. It's going to impact my work. It's going to drag everything down in my business, right? And for what? For whatever small amount of money they're paying me, or large amount, doesn't matter.
That's so true. We are actually very similar, maybe because we're both Virgos. We've been talking about that.
What's your birthday? The
3rd of September.
Oh, 3rd. Yes.
And you were just before me, weren't you?
August 29th.
Yes, yeah, we were just 3 days apart. But Virgos worry. It happens. They worry about details, and they can't get fixated on these things. You know, I know a lot of my Virgo friends are like this, and I am like this.
We're worriers.
Yeah, we worry, but it's not a good, it's like a negative part, so you need to kind of counteract that. I personally, when I find, even with people that are your people, sometimes you might have things that, you know, they might call you in the wrong time of the day, and that annoys you, and then you worry all night that, you know, you got annoyed, or you didn't answer, or you answered, then you get worried that you answered. That's what happens to me. I actually use, I use gratitude practices to counterbalance this. So if I found somebody really annoyed me, it could be my problem, not their problem. You know, we're working well all together. I'll write like 2 pages in my journal on why I'm so happy to work with them. And at the end of that, nothing bothers me anymore. But you have to find a way to sort of change that negative thought into a positive thought. Otherwise, it can drive you insane. How do you cope? Do you have that kind of situations, and how do you cope with those?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, even like a thing, thank you for firing me. I mean, if I can take literally any negative situation and turn it around. So I'm an eternal optimist, but yet I'm also, you know, cautious of know what's going on around me, right? So I have that worry and thing. Plus I'm a Jewish mother. I'm half Jewish, half Catholic. So if you want to talk about the market on worry and guilt, I got it covered.
Brilliant. I love it.
I mean, I would worry about things like, oh, my kid might be cold, even though they have 17 sweaters with them. They're going to be okay.
I'm like the absolute opposite. My daughter was getting up at the age of 8, and she was getting up, making her own breakfast, going to school, preparing her lunch, coming from school, and I had to work. I had to be in work at 6 in the morning. It was before she woke up. And, you know, we just kind of do it that way. So it's a complete opposite. So I don't worry at all. And now she's absolutely fine. In fact, she's looking after me. She's like, "Mommy, did you eat?" She's like, "Cook you something. You need to eat. Get off Facebook."
Yeah.
So it's funny, but that's true. It's maybe because I was born in the Soviet Union and we don't have the guilt.
Yeah. And I think there's more of a culture of independence.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes, that's true. This is very funny. I'm getting chastised a lot by my daughter. I sometimes think, who is actually older in these relationships and what's going on? But on the other hand, I'm glad because she's going to college now, and you know, we don't really have this didactic parent-child relationships. It's more mentorship and friendship, and you know, it's going into a very, very good.
Well, good. Then you know she can rely on herself when she's at college. You don't have to worry. Like she doesn't know how to, you know, add laundry soap to the laundry.
Oh, she knows everything. I don't remember last time I did laundry in my house. I'm messing. No, I'm lying. Only yesterday. But it's true. It is true. You know, they become very independent, and we want to move to Spain. We're living in Ireland at the moment, and we want to move to Spain. And, you know, she's probably going to be here because she's going to Trinity College Dublin now. It's kind of a big deal, and you know, her life could take a completely different direction. But I know that at least on that basic level of survival and living on her own and looking after herself, eating well and being cautious with, you know, in life, you know, protecting yourself mentally, energetically, that's all covered. It's fine. So we can just pack our bags and go.
Good. Nice.
Sometimes I read a couple of articles about lazy mothers, and they're kind of like, when I read that, it's me. You know, it's like a mother that doesn't do much for the kids, and the kids grow up and they learn to do everything themselves.
Well, I have a phrase that you can use instead of lazy. It's called ambitiously lazy.
Ambitiously lazy. I like that.
So
I love that.
Everything that you do that's lazy is really around ambition. So it's around making it easier for yourself.
Oh, yes, yeah. But it's not a selfish thing, to be honest with you, because there is, you know, my child grows up, and I'm sure your children are exactly the same. The children grow up and they see their mothers doing something serious with their lives. It's not going to the supermarket, coming back, watching telly, cooking, and that's it. So it's a big thing. It's a big thing that you're doing for your child, is to show that you can be successful. And if it sometimes comes at an expense of not spending time with the child, and I'm not talking all the time, but just sometime, that's okay too, because they are going to grow up and they need to understand that people have their own space. People need to put efforts into achieving something. I think it's a healthy thing to have.
Yeah, to model.
I'm probably going to look back at this interview and listen to this and thinking, oh my God, what was saying about me? I was just like really not doing myself any favors. But look, this is so let's bring it back to business a little.
1 second. Grammy's picking right. So.
Okay, let's bring it back a little bit back to business.
That was my 17-year-old getting off the bus.
Okay. He couldn't do it himself.
No, he asked where his sister was.
Oh, right.
Mother was picking right.
No, I'm just laughing. I'm just messing. Tell me this. So, if we have somebody watching this and they are entrepreneurs, they might be just at it, or maybe they're struggling a bit, and maybe they've been doing things for a while, but they're just not going anywhere. And what you're saying is really appealing to them. The plain systems, starting things, low budget. How can they get in touch with you, and where can they find you? And what is this program? How can they sign up for that if they want, or check it out?
So the place I hang out, the number one place is Facebook, right? The free group is Write Your Own Paycheck. Yeah. And there's a couple of ways that they can start engaging with that in the free group. And then I also have a membership group that's $97 a month. And the 90-day method program is starting October 1st. And I don't know, it might not be the 1st. It's probably like the 3rd. But it's the beginning of October, so the goal, again, is in that 90 days to teach you the process and all of the action steps that you're going to be taking. So daily, consistent action that will lead you to making $10,000 with the goal of making that before Christmas.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That can really take you off. First of all, 90 days is an amazing timeline. You can create strong habits. You can get rid of the bad habits as well. 90 days is amazing. 90 days is all it took me to make a huge difference in my Facebook marketing. Yeah. And I have a system, and in 90 days all it was, because when I actually looked what was 90 days, when I felt like there was a tipping point, and I looked back 90 days before that, where I just realized I just started. And it was the systems, and it was all these things. So it's a fantastic time. Tell me, if they are going, if they're entering your program, your 90 days program, is that outside your paid membership group? Is that a different thing?
Yep, it is. It's a structured 12-week learning. And actually, I have somebody on my team that's an e-learning person so we're creating the entire thing, the entire course, and it will be interactive and have exercises, homework, so it's a full learning experience. It's not vague. Like I was talking to someone who took a course, and they didn't know what their offers were going to be, but the course was teaching them how to do webinars. They didn't have an offer.
But that's the biggest problem. Yeah, that's the biggest problem, isn't it? Because what is it called? The shiny object syndrome, or when you're trying to get everything. And I'm guilty at the start as well. I took everything I could, but you know what? Get first your head around what you're selling.
Yes.
And who you're selling it to.
Who are your people? Who are you going to sell it to? Where are you going to find them? All those are like foundational things. But then all these other things around marketing, if you have that foundation, you're going to be so much better off, right?
That's true. That's true.
If somebody's taken my 90-day method course and program, and then they come to you, like, they're going to be light years ahead of somebody who doesn't even know what they're selling.
Well, that's the main thing. And even if, with my own experience, when I started promoting my business, my coaching business online,
yep.
I tell you honestly, I'm an action taker, even though I always say to people I procrastinate. But I procrastinate about one thing, but I do 22 things meanwhile, So I'm that kind of procrastinator. But I noticed that it's only when I became very clear on what I actually do that the progress happened and the difference started happening, and I started making money only after I clearly saw what I actually can do. And before that, it was just all this sort of like a baby, like a little puppy, walking around and falling off, and you don't know what you're doing, where you're going, and all this money that you can spend on the programs are waste of money because you're not ready.
Right.
You're not ready. You're not even going to perceive it in the right way, this information that you're getting. So definitely the start of your, if you want to start making it, take something like Sarah's 90-day program that will give you the basic systems and help you learn without huge investment. You don't need ClickFunnels, 99 euros a month. It's a disaster. You don't need it. You don't need any of that. Exactly. And there is certain things. And then definitely, if you want to then think about, okay, well, I have that, I know how I'm selling. How do I get in front of people, and how do I get further? And then you can look at marketing programs, and that's what I do with my client attraction program. But believe me, if you know what you're selling, you'll be so much better off. Right, so there we go. So between us, we got you covered.
I say, if you can get really clear on what you sell, what you offer, what your specialty is, everything else becomes easy. If you're clear, people are clear. Right?
That's true.
This is I had to really, it's hard when you're multi-talented and multi-passionate, right?
That's
when
true.
you can do a lot of different things, you're like, well, I can do any of that. Okay, so I'm just going to offer all these things. And then nobody knows what you offer because you offer 10 different things. And it doesn't work. Specialization works, and then you collaborate with people that offer a different thing. I'm not a marketing coach. I don't do social media marketing. I mean, I teach some small strategies, but just to get you by. But that is not my thing, right? My thing is money, operations, building teams, shifting your perspective, and starting to offer your stuff. So the basics, pricing and packaging. That's it. I have talked about pricing and packaging, I don't know, for 8 weeks straight in all the places. You wouldn't even believe how many times I've talked about it. You have to talk about your thing until you are so tired of talking about your thing, and then talk about it 10 more times, or 20 more times, or 30 more times.
That's right. It's a very good advice about concentrating on one thing. Because in my story, it's exactly the thing. Because I am really a jack of all trades. I know so many things, but it's until you have one thing that you decide that you do, and you have to decide what feels good, to you. What's the most natural thing that you enjoy, and you need to find something you enjoy. Then you don't feel like you're working at all. It's a good thing. So
yep, and people start to get to know you for that thing.
That's right.
And if you want to do other things after and you're already known, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
People already know you. So if I do something to teach people how to price and package and sell their stuff in 90 days, and then I get bored with that in a year or 2 years, 3 years, big deal. I'll teach another thing. I'll already have all those people that did that will know. So I need to teach something that's slightly divergent from that. But I'm never going to decide that I'm going to be a social media manager or marketer or any of that. That's not my thing.
That's right, yeah.
You focus on the things that you're really good at, and you focus on 1 or 2 or 3 of them. If you can't choose one, choose 3. Don't choose 40.
That's right. Yeah. But if you can narrow it down to one, or create a thing that would incorporate the 3, and call it something, that's also a that's a good thing. I think we covered all the basics. Guys, you're all ready to go and take over the world, because this is it. You actually know the what's now. But if you really need to know the hows, join Sarah's course. It's starting the 1st of September. Oh, sorry, 1st of October. We're in September now. So 1st of October, so you have some time. I'm going to put a link to Sarah's group, Pay Your Own Check, and you can check her out, start interacting, and see if you have a connection, because you need to work with your people, and then take it from there. And good luck with taking over the world, and you'll join us. We're already taking over the world, so we know what we're talking about. Sarah, thank you so much for joining me. It was a great chat. And I'm delighted that we could find the way to deliver this message somehow today, because it was very sort of frustrating. The last moment, we were 15 minutes late. Sorry, guys. And thank you so much for the time that you guys spent watching this interview and your personal time. I know we have all this video content, but it takes time from our lives. So we are really grateful that you spent this with us.
Thank you for watching, and I hope that you've gained some insight, help, and it will help you make more money in your business.
That's right. That's right. Okay, guys, thanks a million. Bye. Bye.